This weekend at the Wisconsin Center, over 20,000 fans are going to be jam-packed in here, and we want to welcome you for the first ever Midwest Gaming Classic Game Conference. I'm your host, Matt Isbell, alongside Adam Malkowski. And Adam, this is it, the first ever Midwest Gaming Classic Game Conference.
It is going to be a ball of fun. I think everybody needs to stay tuned in for the entire event.
But besides that event that's happening here tonight, that starts at 5 o'clock, obviously, after that, you're going to want to come back and go to twitch.tv/Buffalo Pinball, the first ever Jersey Jack Pinball Seminar brought to you by.
Something really special for everyone, so you definitely want to tune into that after the game conference stream.
You definitely want to, and it's brought to you by Buffalo Pinball and Overdrive Reality Productions. But go ahead, Adam.
We've been doing this, we've been coming to Midwest Gaming Classic here for a while. We've seen some very great stuff here. And some of my favorite stuff is the vendor hall. What about your favorite stuff, Matt?
Dude, some of the greatest stuff here is just walking around and seeing everyone have a great time. It's literally such a huge event for everyone to have fun. But speaking of that right now, why don't we take a look at highlights from last year's Midwest Gaming Classic?
Hey, it's me, Duke Nukem, and it's time to kick some ass at the Midwest Gaming Classic. Yeah.
Great highlights from last year, Adam. But there's so many great new things, including a phone app for everyone that's coming here this weekend.
OSG-Con, you can download it from your market or iTunes, and it's very simple to use. It has event schedules. You can go through and build your own schedule for the entire weekend, so you won't miss a minute of the action.
It's going to be incredible, everything that's going to happen here with the Midwest Gaming Classic Game Conference, which I want to bring it back to that now, because we're going to be starting that here probably in the next 10 minutes or so. It's going to be live in action. What do you think is going to happen, Adam? Game trailers reveal so much more. What do you expect?
I don't know what to expect. It's going to be a ton of new material and a ton of people being honored. Legends will be honored tonight. You definitely do not want to miss it at all.
The Midwest Gaming Classic Pillar Award for the first time ever. As Adam said, legends will be honored, but they will also be made here tonight. We're going to be presenting some great stuff to some great legends, and we can't tell you who those legends are that are going to be inducted into the first ever Midwest Gaming Classic Pillar Awards here today. But Adam, let's transition to every year we come here. You know, we've been here for a couple of years. I need to know, are you looking for anything specific here this weekend?
I just like to walk through the vendor hall, and then if something piques my interest, like I don't have a specific item I'm looking for. If there's something like, oh, that's a sweet toy or some rare game cartridge, I'll just impulse buy stuff. Like I'll come in with an open mind and just impulse buy something.
Well, what I'm looking for this weekend is the Sega CD stuff. Like, I want to keep collecting on that. I can't find a really good copy of Sonic CD. When you're looking for that copy, it's either a cracked case or the CD's
missing
damaged.
a book or something
like that. So, you know, speaking of that, though, let's get the fans involved here that are here this weekend. Here's what I want you to do. If you're sitting in the Garcade Hall right now, getting ready for the presentation here today, or if you, the Garcade Hall.
Oh,
it's the Garcade Hall. If you're sitting in the Garcade Hall right now, or if you're home watching on Facebook Live and you're planning on coming here this weekend, I want you to get your smartphone devices out and use the hashtag Midwest Gaming Classic. Because when you're using the hashtag Midwest Gaming Classic, I want you to tell us what you're going to pick up here this weekend or what you're specifically looking for here at the Midwest Gaming Classic. But Adam, we got a couple minutes left. What do you think? It's time to wrap it up and get inside and get ready for this event?
I think everybody just make sure your phone battery's charged or your computer's plugged in and you got a great internet signal. You don't want your stream to drop out.
No,
so I definitely stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Coming up next is the first ever Midwest Gaming Classic Game Conference right here with Overdrive Reality Productions.
Gaming. Much has changed since the beginning of gaming. From Atari introducing Pong to the latest home consoles. Today, over 2.2 billion gamers around the world have transformed the industry from a pastime to a lifestyle. The days of Star Wars, pinball, and Pac-Man in arcades have launched the possibility of portability, playing Mario Kart on the Nintendo Switch at the airport. Tonight, we celebrate current as well as classic games. Get ready to relive your childhood and fully immerse yourself into brand new adventures. With new game releases and trailers, all while we honor some of the most important people in the gaming industry. Tonight, people around the world will come together under the same roof. No matter what the industry brings, we, the gamers, will be ready for it. This is the Midwest Gaming Classic.
And now, Overdrive Reality Productions presents the Midwest Gaming Classic Game Conference. Please welcome the founder of the Midwest Gaming Classic, Dan Lewson, and, from Overdrive Reality Productions, Matt Isbell.
How we doing tonight? We want to welcome you guys to the first ever Midwest Gaming Classic Game Conference here today. I'm Matt Isbell, and this is kind of my idea to start the first ever Midwest Gaming Classic Game Conference. But Dan, I got to ask you, how excited are you to be here today and do this, man?
Well, I'll tell you this much. I'm pretty tired from having run around all day, but this is something that I would not have missed. So Matt came up to me with this idea I got to hold this thing closer. Matt came up to me with this idea about 3 months ago, and basically said, there's a lot of cool stuff that happens at the show, and let's honor some of those cool things. Let's make sure that we reveal some of those cool things so that people can see them before. And then, if you're watching online, you can get hyped about it, come out here this weekend. And so we wanted to do that, and we also wanted to honor some of the people that made the show happen. While Matt just called me, or the lady just called me the founder of the Midwest Gaming Classic, the truth is that if there wasn't 1,000 people like me and Matt and other people that have come together to make this thing a thing, I'm waving around my secret already, if they wouldn't have come together to make this thing a thing, this thing wouldn't exist. And so this is also to honor some of those people that actually made everything that we're doing possible, which is which is pretty awesome. So thank you all for being here.
I mean, I'm just glad to be here. I mean, I'm the guy that gets to travel the road every weekend, and I get one weekend off pretty much a year, and I choose to be here. So this is the greatest show to be a part of. So, but are we ready to get this thing started? I mean, I heard you got some surprises today yourself.
Thank you. So there was supposed to be a joke here where Matt was going to say, let's bring out the first person to do it. And I was like, I'm already here.
Yeah, and you already totally bombed it.
Yeah, and I totally bombed it by forgetting that and waving the game cartridge around. So one of the things that we wanted to explain to you is that we have created, along with Vi Gray, in my head it's always been V, with Vi Gray. He came to us, and again, this is where one of those things are that we have people that come together and do awesome things. He came to me about, 6 months ago, and was like, hey, I saw that you guys are doing this VIG thing. I want to do something really cool for it. And I was like, okay, what's that? And those of you who know me know that I'm really bad at saying no to anybody. And so I'm like, what is it? And he's like, we're going to make the badge a game. And I was like, I don't get it. And he was like, no. Here's how we can do this. I know how to program the NES. We're going to make an NES an NES cartridge into the game badge. And so today, if you are one of our VIG people, you can pick up, or you will be picking up, the first ever NES game badge as part of the Midwest Gaming Classic, which was something that Vi did for us. And so that's kind of our first thing. But along with that, that's not really a surprise because I've told everybody about that. And so the surprise is that there's some other versions of it. And so this is a special version of it because this version goes in a small arcade cabaret. We're going to have an arcade game that is going to be wired up in kit form, and if you are an operator, you will be able to purchase a Midwest Gaming Classic Bovinium Quest arcade game starting hopefully tomorrow. So we'll have the actual game up on the floor, and you'll be able to see that starting here then. So that's the first one. Yeah, let's see the trailer real quick. All right, with that, I'd like to bring up, we're going to start something new here, and the new thing that we're starting, one of the things that we wanted to do, like I said, was honor some of the people that made this possible. And so I get to do a lot of those presentations, but the first one I'm not actually going to do because I was very well aware of it, and it laid the groundwork for our show, but I wasn't as involved with it as some other people. So with that, I welcome to the stage our he's our tickets and logistic officer or something. He has a fancy title that he's about to tell you from the show, but he's also one of our longtime people. His name's Christopher Rick.
This is what happens when you make up your own title. It's head of on-site ticketing logistics, Dan. It sounds fancy. It means I give you all access to the show. But the very first convention that I ever went to was, thank you, Gen Con, way back when it was at UW Parkside, and I was like, I don't know, 12 or 13 years old. We're fortunate to have somebody here that worked on Gen Con since then, and so I get the honor of awarding the first ever Gaming Pillar Award. Gaming Pillar. Like a pillow? Gaming Pillow Award. Harold Johnson, who I only just met last year. Wow, I got really loud. Cool. I kind of feel like God. Anyone? Hackers reference? No? Okay. I met him last year, and I actually have, ooh, can you give me that book that's right there on the thing there? I have something that helped form my early childhood, which is the Hidden Shrine of Tomoe-chan, which was a Dungeons & Dragons module that Mr. Johnson wrote, which hopefully he'll be gracious enough to sign for me later. Not the color one, as a matter of fact, even. And now, this year, Harold and Epic Quest Productions have brought something to MGC that I have been wanting to see here for a long time, and that is role-playing Dungeons & Dragons. Oh, and they have something special that's going on, as a matter of fact. That module was written in 79, 80? In 1979. And this weekend at Midwest Gaming Classic, they are premiering the Return to Tomoe-chan, which is the sequel, would you say, the spiritual successor? The spiritual successor. Okay, cool. I don't have to talk about that. What I do get to do is ask Mr. Harold Johnson if he would please come join me on stage. Yeah. It is my very great pleasure to give you the 2019 Gaming Pillar Award for everything that you have done through the years for gaming and what you are doing with us here at the Midwest Gaming Classic now.
Hopefully lots more.
Hopefully lots more. Thank you very much. I didn't want to get my fingerprints all over it. It's a pillar.
It's a pillar. Wow, thanks. They didn't tell me he was going to do this. Surprise! I've been around forever. Some people say I'm as old as dirt, right? But this is a great show. I love this show. I came last year and got to be part of it, running the gaming library with the Milcog group, and they are here again this year. So if you like board games versus arcade games, we do have that too. We're also this year we're bringing role playing to the show as well. So is this my time to talk about everything else? Yes. Here, hold this for me. Here, bring me this. I go way back, 1975. The Dungeons and Dragons game is what I'm known to be associated with. Gen Con itself is a convention that centered around role-playing and miniature gaming. And it happened right here in Mecca from 1984 to 2002. And it now is happening down in Indianapolis. It's huge. It had over 77,000 attendees last year. And if you were 77,001, you did not get in. They stopped selling tickets. They were out of room. So way back then, in 1979, I joined the company, and I created a tournament, which he's taken over there, and I will devalue later for him by writing my name in it. It was a first ever tournament because it evolved the way we would see role-playing adventures from then on. Up to that point, they looked very much like original Batten or Orthanc. You had a room, you'd bust in and you'd see a monster, and then you'd fight it, and then you'd get a treasure. But we decided we'd do more. We'd do stories, we'd do descriptions of rooms, and so on. So that was that product. But that was 1979. And today we're in the year 2019, and I'm still alive. So, with Epic Quest Productions, I'm very happy to announce that we are going to be doing Return to Tomoe-chan. This product was considered one of the 10 deadliest adventures. That one was considered one of the 10 deadliest adventures ever written. This should put it in the dust. I am a very vindictive dungeon master. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Am I? But I do have a big challenge that we're doing, and we are, if you get the time and you get a little tired of just electronic games, you can stop by. We're in the dealer hall. Is that what it is? It's not the dealer hall. Game Center. We're in Game Center, and we are running scenarios there from the Hidden Shrines Return. Fail. Thank you. There we go. And you get a chance to play. So please stop by. Now, there is something else we want to talk about. Now, you noticed we're doing paper here because it all starts with paper. And one of the reasons Dungeons & Dragons is important is Dungeons & Dragons is transformative. Its growth and changed the video gaming industry. We will be doing a lecture on that a little later tomorrow. It did transform it, but it started with paper product. About, I want to say 13 years ago, I was asked to predict the future of gaming. And that was when we were doing all PDFs, and nobody was printing anymore. And they said, print games are dead. And I said, nonsense, that's not what's going to happen. What's going to happen is we're going to see that media games, virtual reality, is going to become an accessory for the social gathering of role-playing games. And so we actually also have the ability here to get you on something that we've been working with. This is called the Roll20 system, and Roll20 is available online. You can sign up for it at roll20.com. We have already 6 adventures have been programmed to Roll20. Roll20 is a virtual platform. It will show you the adventure on a video screen. You can have interaction with it, but it's not a video game. It is a tool for the Dungeon Master. And in fact, it has sound effects, it has music, it has animations, It has special effects for spells, and this is just a start. We've been working with Roll20 and very excited about it. So there, we see a marriage of technology with old role-playing, old school role-playing. I hope you guys are going to enjoy this show. I know I am, and we're just starting. So what's next? Oh, can I have my pillar back?
Thank you. So, whoa, that got louder. Thank you. So, that was the first one. One of the things that I think is really cool about this is that one of the things that we want to do with Pillars is that the reason that we came up with that as an idea is that our goal wasn't to celebrate stuff that people had done in the past. It was the stuff that people had done to influence the show and that they continue to do to this day. And so one of the things that's so cool about what Harold did is that he, in many ways, helped set the groundwork for having a show like this here. And the next group that I'm about to introduce, the next pillar that we're about to give out, they actually have another product that they're going to show too, which is really cool because we're not just bringing up people to say like, hey, you used to do cool stuff. We're bringing up people to say, hey, look at the cool stuff that you do right now. And then it's also because of how they did this with our show. And so the next people who I'm about to introduce, way back about, I don't know, 10 years ago probably, I don't even know how we first started talking, but we started talking through email or something, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. I'm going to get the father of adventure games to come to our show. And so this guy in the 70s came up with all these games where you like type and then it sends you a message back and you read that message and you think like, okay, now what do I do now? And you type in something else. And what's kind of crazy about this is that when Gary and I first became friends, Gary's the other guy that runs the show. He's currently in the vendor hall doing stuff that's really fun, I'm sure. And so when Gary did that, when we first met, the reason that we became friends was because Gary and I created text adventure games together like what this gentleman did on a computer, and that's kind of what we bonded over. And then we said, one day we're going to make our own software company, ha, 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 ha. And then we said, one day we'll make our own bigger thing, ha, ha, and here we are. So once in a while that stuff actually happens. But so anyway, the point is that it wasn't just that. It was that we also, once we got in touch with him and said, hey, we'd like you to come out, one of the things that was so spectacular about him is that we said, hey, we really need someone who's cool to speak on Sunday because everybody does not like to come on Sunday. And this person was the first person that said, I would love to speak on Sunday. And for us, that was huge. Today, back then, the Midwest Gaming Classic got 20% of its attendance on Sunday and 80% on Saturday. This weekend, we expect to have 50% of our attendance on Saturday and 50% of our attendance on Sunday. And that's hugely important to the show because if we don't have that balance, if we don't have that ability to get people to come back for 2 days, this thing is actually really expensive to put on, it turns out. And we can't balance the needs of everybody if we have Sunday being really light. And so please welcome to the stage Scott and Roxanne Adams. And I should say real quick, I'm sorry, I said that slightly early. I should say also, the thing that was great is after Scott first did these speeches, he brought his wife Roxanne in, and they started doing them together. And as of last year, right? Last year, they started remaking adventure games again. And so about, 6 months ago, they sent me a code for Escape the Gloomer. And when I got that code, I was like, okay, I am so busy, but I wanted to see what this is like because who plays text adventure games anymore? And what was so cool is that the game's now reading itself to you, and they're making versions of it that, well, I'm going to let them tell you a little bit more about it when they come up here, but it's a whole new way to interact with it, and it's made it so much more interesting. And so because of that, because of what they've done for us, by being the first people to say, hey, Sunday is our day, I would like to welcome to the stage now Scott and Roxanne Adams for our second ever Pillar Award. I just totally fingerprinted this thing up, sorry. Didn't know how to get it out, so now you have Dan Lucen fingerprints all over it.
Thank you so much. This is really special, and it's been quite the journey. And we remember those days. I don't know. Yeah, 10 years ago. I was trying to figure that out the other day, how many years we've been coming off and on, and we've seen it grow, and it's been amazing. And all the hard work of everybody is paying off. And so and it's so much fun to see everybody having fun.
Personally, I'm very touched that you did this. Thank you very much, Dan. Coming here in the early days with Roxanne was to me a great joy because I got to meet people that I had, whose lives were touched by the classic games that myself and my team did back last century. And from fans, they became friends. And that's very meaningful to me. As Dan mentioned, we have indeed started up another company, my wife and I. We co-founded.
And I'm not a gamer.
Which is amazing. As a matter of fact, she's going to be talking on a panel this Sunday. Yes, Sunday's our day. We have a presentation in the morning that will tell about how a small town grew a software company. But in the afternoon, Roxanne's going to be speaking on a panel of women gamers. And I recommend it to everybody. It's going to be amazing. Segueing forward, we have two clips we want to show today. These are world firsts, both of them. One of them talks to more ancient history, as it were. It's actually a documentary that's being done. It's going to be coming out this year on BBC. I think it's ZDF1 in Germany and NDK in Japan and other avenues. And it is a look back at the foundations of the gaming industry. So we have a very special, very short clip. This is the world's first exposure for this clip, so you guys are getting to see it first. Just a very short play, but I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, if we can roll the clip.
Quest Probe was an interesting thing. Marvel contacted us and asked if we would be interested in licensing their product for games. And so I flew up to Manhattan and met with the vice president of Marvel. His name was Joe Calamari. Really nice guy. He said he wanted to come up with a game, put the Marvel characters into these home computers that he's been hearing about. And he had asked around, and he said he asked a number of people, and they all pointed to Adventure International as the people that he should talk to. Wow, that was quite the honor. So here I am, and I'm going, yes, we would like that.
So Anthony and Nicola are in England, and they had a film crew come out, and they're doing an extensive series for BBC of the history of gaming and the games and the people, and they went all over the world to interview people, and that was pretty exciting. And when they did that, and so what they're saying right now is that it should be released this fall. And this is just a tiny snippet of what they're doing, and a lot of legends are in that documentary series.
Right, it's just not myself that was interviewed.
Right.
There are
Right.
some very major legends in there. Definitely worth seeing. Dan mentioned, and I'll put in a plug for Escape the Gloomer. We've spent the last year creating this game. It is a new genre that we're calling conversational adventure games. That's a take on the old text adventure games. Shortly, right now it's currently available on Steam. You can purchase it there. Very shortly, it's going to be coming out on Amazon Alexa. You'll be able to say, Alexa, play Escape the Gloomer. And you can play it directly on your Alexa device, wherever it is. It's also going to be coming out on mobile platforms shortly after that. As we wrap up the conversions for the platforms, we're in the process of starting something new. And that's something new, once again, for Midwest Gaming Classic, because this place means a lot to us. It's very special. So we're making these clips available here first. So here is a clip of what the team, what we've been working on, and what we are about to do.
And this will be the first official announcement here.
Many centuries ago, a great civilization ruled over Adventureland. Their riches exceeded their wildest dreams, until one dark day, a fiendish dragon was drawn to the riches of Adventureland. The dragon roamed Adventureland, destroying the very thing that made...
Sorry, seem to have caught the beginnings of dreadful cold. Now, where were we? Yes.
Our COO, who is a 24-year-old graduate from UW, put this together, and he has been amazing in our company. He has really given us that young feel, but the retro, he is so into everything in the gaming world that he gets us, he gets our company, he gets Scott. We've known him for all his life, and so it really is special having our team together, doing things together.
And I am very blessed to be here. I thank Dan for inviting us, and I hope to get to chat with people during the show. See us Sunday. We'll be at our booth, at the panel, and at the presentation, and I hope to make a lot of new friends here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know how to do this with two microphones. Hey, Matt, catch. Just kidding. Here, someone else hand it to him so I don't completely break everything. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have two more things left. I have one more gaming pillar to give out tonight. And so it's actually kind of funny because I don't actually know that he knows this. But 4 years ago, this man saved the show. And so I don't know that he knows this at all, but I'm going to relate the story. I was having a really, really bad day. If you remember 4 years ago, if you came to our show, we had a tent that was attached to the building. It was raining a lot. There was streams of water coming through the tent. There was people walking in the water. My mom, who I absolutely adore, took over pre-sale tickets for me. And my mom had decided that instead of beeping them and having people go while I ran to do something else, she would beep them and talk to them for a minute about how excited that she was to be there. So our pre-sale line, instead of it going like this, like it usually does, you know, thanks to Christopher, it was more like, 20 minutes long, and our cash sales were walk-up. And I got back, and people were like, why did I pre-order tickets for this? And I was like, I don't know what's going on. And so it was a really bad day at that time. And right about this time, where I've got people yelling at me about pre-order tickets, where I've got people yelling at me about rain coming in the tent right now, that we had tried everything to make that not happen. We had all this stuff going on. I had people, and at the exact same time, my wife texts me. My wife runs social media during the event for me. My wife texts me and she says, Dan, should I be deleting all these negative comments or should I just leave them? And so at this point, I was just like, all right, well, it was a good run, I guess. And right then, someone at ticketing goes, Dan, Eugene Jarvis is here. And I'm like, hey. And, well, as you're about to see, Eugene is always like in the most jovial mood, especially when he's around here. And he's like, Dan, how's it going? And I'm like, hey, Eugene. And he's like, okay, what's going on? And we walked through the hotel, and I literally just walked him from where ticketing was. Do you remember this? Okay, he does. From ticketing to where the presentation hall was. And along the way, he said to me, I know exactly what your problem is. You're too close to it. You see all the details. If you look that closely, you find everything that's wrong because you know everything that's happening. But he said, take a step back, look around. This is awesome. And I remember walking through the halls and thinking to myself, holy crap, Eugene Jarvis just said my show's awesome. Okay, it can't be that bad. And then I started really thinking about it, and I started thinking, and he had said too, he said, look at all the people, look at their faces. He said, yeah, so what it took an extra 5 or 10 minutes to get in? Once they get in, they're having fun. And it snapped me out of this terrible funk that I had been in, where I was literally like ready to go up to my room and just be like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I don't know how. And that conversation was extremely meaningful to me. And it was something that I really took to heart. And we basically, since then, it's been much easier to take a step back and look at the whole picture. So like today, when I've got 3 million things going on and everybody's calling me and I've got people flipping out that, oh my God, my table's not in the right spot, and I'm like, cool, we'll fix it. And there's a lot of people that walk up to me since then and they're like, man, you're really calm. And it's like, no, I'm looking at the whole picture right now. And so that framing was super important. Now that's on top of the fact that this man also started doing arcade games back in the 80s with some games like Robotron and Defender and stuff like that. He moved on to doing stuff like the Cruisin' USA series, and today he runs Raw Thrills Play Mechanics that has games on our floor for the first time ever. Woo! Which has been a long time coming. We've been working for that. And so I don't know if he kind of knew that he was that important, but it's interesting. There's like a list of probably 10 to 15 people that at some point a conversation that they've had with me or Gary has like legitimately saved the show. And he was one of those people. And so for always having us look at the big picture and for all that he has done for the industry and continues to do with those awesome games that are upstairs, you have to see them if you haven't yet. I would like to give our third and final Game Pillar Award for 2019 to Eugene Jarvis. That was awesome.
Thanks, man. You know, life is a shit show, and that's why we're here, because we want to have fun. You know, and it was just, I couldn't believe it. I went to the show, and just I looked at all the kids. Everybody was just like having a gas. Even the people with the rain coming in on their Nintendo collector's cartridges. You know. And they're like, yeah, man, you know, I guess we'll have a sale, you know. It's like, but no, it was just the kids and all the crazy stuff going on here with the home gamers and the adventure gamers and you know, arcades, pinball. I mean, there's a million things going on, and I think like Ben Hecht was down in the basement, you know, doing his pinball game and like, you know, hand wired the whole thing, and it was just like, this is crazy, man. This is awesome. I mean, there's nothing happening like Midwest Gaming Classic, man. It's awesome.
Thank you. And here's one thing that's also funny that I forgot to mention that I meant to. I know for a fact that that date was exactly 4 years ago today, because immediately after that conversation happened, my wife called me up to our hotel room, and she opened up the window, and I was like, oh, I'm going to get another Eugene conversation here, because she was like, you need to look outside for a second. I'm like staring at the tent. And then she came to me and said that we were pregnant with our second child. And I was like, oh, guess what? None of this does matter. Whatever, let the rain keep going. This is cool. I'm cool. So, yeah, it was quite the day, but thank you for setting me right. And then it was, yeah, so for you.
I hope this doesn't say, thank you. I hope this doesn't say game over on it. But,
we don't do that here. You've proven to me there is no game over. I think we got one more thing, though, don't we?
Please welcome to the stage, Jersey Jack Pinball.
Hey everyone, my name is Eric Minier. I'm a game designer at Jersey Jack Pinball, and we have got a tasty treat coming up at 7 p.m. tonight. So we would like to show you and announce officially for the first time from Jersey Jack that we are making Willy Wonka. So Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, based on the 1971 film. We are going to be having 6 games in this room at 7 o'clock. So come in, see the full reveal, come hang out with us, play the games. They'll be in here all night. And yeah, can't wait to see what you guys think. Thanks.
Well, that does conclude the first ever Midwest Gaming Classic Game Conference. We thank you all for coming out. Come on back and check out the Jersey Jack Pinball, please, at 7 o'clock, brought to you by Buffalo Pinball. So come on, check that out. And if you're just walking the vendor hall or walking the arcade and you have your phone out, go on twitch.tv/Buffalo Pinball and watch it while you're walking around. Thanks, you guys. And I just got one question for you. Are you guys ready for the Midwest Gaming Classic? Yeah. All right.